This show is about your life, how to make it better, how to make more from it, how to love deeper, how to share it with others. This journey is about connection to your dreams, with topics centering on love, money, sexuality, and energy that unites it all. This show will change your life. For years, I've coached people in easy-to-learn skills, and I've seen incredible changes. I'm here to teach you those skills as a coach and hopefully a new friend. Hi, I'm Kyle. Come along with me as you move along your path of life success. Welcome to the Kyle Phoenix Show.
So now, you've got young men confused because their sexuality doesn't match the family that they're around or their family of origin. So there are no teachers to teach them how to be homosexual, essentially. Then you grow up into a society that once you reach a certain age, 16, it's actually becoming younger and younger now, that people are expressing their sexuality or expressing their sexual identity. So 16, 18, 20 or so years old, by the time you actually leave home and are no longer dependent upon your family for complete survival, you start expressing who you are. But you were taught the wrong skills for who you are. So, how do some homosexual men, gay men, bisexual, transgender get into relationships and others don't? Part of the way that this actually happens is quite simple. The missing teachers with most homosexual men tend to be women. Women teach men in heterosexual relationships about the other, that there is another person that is completely different than you. So, think about the confusion this way. A homosexual man meets another homosexual man. They are excited to have met another homosexual man who's attracted to them and who they're attracted to. So, what do? They do what's easiest and what's most commonly related to homosexual men to be able to do. They're sexual with each other. Why? Because there are billions upon billions upon billions of dollars designed to actually create a porno industry. So you'll find that most homosexual men learn about their sexuality from pornography and hit-and-miss exchanges with other gay men who have learned their sexuality from pornography and other hit-and-miss situations with other gay men. So, it's a bunch of men who haven't learned anything because they've learned from incorrect sources. Imagine learning how to drive at the motor vehicle department without there being cars involved. Or imagine learning how to use a computer just from a book. So there actually needs to be some kind of relational experience that a homosexual man can learn about how to be in a relationship. So when you meet lots of homosexual men, or if you're one who hasn't been able to connect in a relationship, it's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's not that there's anything wrong with homosexual men that you may have been interested in. It's that those homosexual men just simply don't have that skill or that training or that repetitive training to actually be in relationships, because women teach men how to be in relationships, how to express themselves emotionally, how to express giving and receiving, how to express love and compassion, how to put themselves as a protector role. Who's a protector role when there are two men? How to put themselves as the protector role in a relationship, how to know what is their position and responsibility and accountability in a relationship. All of that is already set up with men and women. So, without women teaching some of these critical skills to men are left to their own devices to actually kind of figure out something that society doesn't even agree to. Therefore, there's not as much concerted learning or attention to this. This is also an interesting thing if you want to look at how do things like STDs transmit amongst people, particularly amongst gay men, from that lack of skill. If you're pushed to the outside of normal society, abnormal behaviors will become the norm. Then when you try to reintegrate back into that normal society, your abnormal behaviors won't fit. So, masculinity and femininity. Everyone is masculine and feminine. Everyone is masculine and feminine. Both men and women have masculine traits and feminine traits. Everyone has both masculine and feminine traits. If you want to be with a man, and you're a man, you have to accept that he has masculine and feminine traits. And most importantly, go into your bathroom, look in the mirror, and accept that you have masculine and feminine traits. And that's just the way human beings are built. That's just the way that our right and left brains operate. That's just the way that your parents, your grandmother, your mother, your sisters taught you some things. Taught you to not completely be masculine. But boys are engendered by our social system. Don't cry. Don't fidget, don't move, don't play that way, don't play with those toys, don't do that, don't do that, don't express yourself. What do you mean you want to do that? No, play with this kind of toy, don't play with that kind of toy. Do these kinds of sports, don't do those kinds of sports. Little boys are constantly encouraged not to feel. What are you crying for? Stop crying, stop crying. Those things, such as crying, is expressing the emotional self, are expressing things that are occurring, are expressing sympathy, empathy, are expressing understanding someone else's pain, but you're constantly restricted. And why do you maybe even agree to the restrictions? Because you're kind of undercover in your family, because you don't want to be ostracized from them, because you might feel differently, or you might feel homosexual, that you learn to define that as. So, if you're looking for a man, as one of the questions came up, where do you find the man if you have to give up your perfect man list? First, you have to accept that he's going to be both masculine and feminine. And you have to accept that you're going to be both masculine and feminine. And one of you will probably be more masculine than the other, and the other one will probably be more feminine than the other. Different activities actually bespeak to masculinity and femininity. Generally, when I'm in workshops with gay men, we go around, after there's been some kind of trust built, to discuss the feminine things that they do. Whether it's clothing, whether it's appearance, whether it's vanity, whether it's personal caretaking, whether it's cooking, whether it's sewing, whether it's an enjoyment of certain kinds of music, whether it's an enjoyment of dancing. Dancing is actually more of a feminine attribute than it actually is a masculine attribute. Plenty of men dance, but more women dance because it's a more free expression of the body. And what are boys told? Stand still. Don't move. Stop twitching like that. Girls can dance. In fact, part of our society encourages women to dance, and that's part of seduction. So, men who dance are either considered effeminate or feminine, or a new way, that's when we push away the insanity that other people have laid upon us, that it's just okay. It's okay. And in fact, what you'll see in future workshops and videos is that men who dance tend to be better lovers because they're more comfortable with their bodies. So that feminine young man that you may meet, or in his 30s or in his 40s or older, is actually the man you need to be with because he balances and complements your masculine energy. And perhaps you're not as masculine as you think.